horror master George Romero had his own reasons for creating Night of the Living Dead.
I was always a fan of the zombie as a character. To me, a zombie was always the sort of blue-collar monster, the one that did all the heavy lifting while Lugosi lived in the castle and was the master. And I think that Night of the Living Dead was inspired by a Richard Matheson book called I Am Legend, which was a vampire story. But I took, I guess, some of the precepts that came with that, which basically was about a society of vampires that wipe out human society. And that gave me the idea to, apply that to zombies or flesh eaters.
In 1990, Romero remade the film. However, he only changed a few things.
Went back in 1968. The character of Barbara was probably, unfortunately, typical of the kind of female characters that were in movies in those days. And I probably didn't give her enough credit or make her a strong enough person. So in this one, I wanted to make her strong from the get-go. And that was probably the biggest change. And then Ben, the male character, in the original version, he was right, yet he was wrong. In other words, he seemed like he was the hero, and it seemed like he was on top of it and had all the right ideas, but in the end, he was wrong, which is one of the ironies. In other words, it's just the luck of the draw. And I think in the new version, he vacillates a little more, and he's a little less sure of himself. And I just think that that's a more realistic kind of character.
With so few changes, one might wonder why bother changing the classic at all.
The reason we did the remake is a long, involved, more legal story than a creative one. The original film, when we made it, we were just a bunch of young people that made it on our own investment and the investment of a few local friends, doctors, dentists, advertising people. We made the film, threw it in the trunk of the car, took it to New York and to see if anyone would want to show this to people. And they did, and it went out and it became Night of the Living Dead, but no one ever made any money, none of our group.
So because of bad accounting, the zombies got to walk and feed again.
It's a siege movie, if you will, about people trying to figure out, A, what's happening, B, how to survive it, and C, maybe most importantly, how to deal with each other. So it has a lot to do with communications and inability to communicate in certain kinds of stressful situations. And I think when we made the original film, it was very much on our minds, that the idea of that inability to communicate. And with all the advances in technology, when we did the remake, we were really not trying to fit it into the 90s. If it was really going to be a 90s version, people wouldn't care. The zombies would walk down the street and everyone would just say, another one of those guys. I wish we would have had a little more time on the production of the remake, but I think by and large it turned out really, really well.